across the room. Oh, like kiss somebody. Man, I love to watch her move. She's got those curves. Can't take too fast. Let's watch her move. Oh, you're not gonna lie.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Great
Thanks for having
set.
us.
You guys killed it, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, the first question I'd like to ask, Bent Spokes Posse. Now, when we come up with terms of bent spokes, you had explained to me what that meant. If you could explain to our viewers.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a lot of the spokes on a wheel, you know, when you compare it to a community, you know, we all kind of got the spokes of our life kind of bent, our emotions, our mental capacity, or our state, you know, and so, you know, even though that the spokes on the wheel might be bent, as a community, we keep that wheel rolling.
Exactly. And what does that mean to you, John?
If you wreck, you get back up and you keep on going.
Boom.
There you go.
Nice. I always like to ask, as far as inspirations go, for each of our musicians here. Jeremy, we'll start with you. I know that we had touched on Peter Cetera of Chicago. Were there any others, or was it mainly Peter as you were forming your sound?
Well, I mean, there was a lot. I mean, that's one of the ones I can say. You know, I wore out that cassette tape. You know, I can say I'm that old. It was Peter Cetera with Chicago. There was Michael Jackson. Probably one of my most recent influences is Blue October.
Okay.
But yeah, very, very eclectic, kind of all over the board. So.
And then John?
So I used to listen to heavy metal all the time when I was younger, but an influence people tell me I sound like occasionally is Neil Schon of Journey.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I love his guitar playing.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's so melodic, and so his technique is great. Now you have killer guitar players whose technique is like monstrous compared to his, but with his melodic runs, he compensates for the lack of just insane technique. And I like him, and I like a ton of other guitarists as well.
Yeah, I heard a little. For me, when I first heard your solo playing, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I can remember listening to Eruption in a park at a party, and I mean, it was just crazy over these huge speakers, just bam, bam, bam. Yeah. So I loved him. I loved that. He was great. Yeah.
So now what I like to go to is the Craigslist ad that brought you two together.
Yeah.
Because it was basically, if you could describe this Craigslist ad that brought Jeremy and John together.
Did I answer yours or did you answer mine?
I put out an ad. I can't sing, but I have sung lead in a band and actually played out, and I can't sing anywhere near as well as Jeremy. And so I put out an ad where I just was playing my electric guitar, singing songs I wrote by myself. It was kind of trashy, and then Jeremy's like, sends me this line, "I like your sound," and I'm like, "Is this guy crazy?" and then I just like thought, okay, I'll take a chance and I'll send one back. I thought he might have been joking, and then boom, and we just got together and started writing songs, and you know.
Yeah, I think we both had an ad at the same time, but yeah, I just
Okay.
couldn't remember which one of us reached out to the other first. I took like, oh God, it must have been like 10 years off after my daughter was born. So I was like, all right, time to get back into it. I think I can swing this schedule. So
Nice. So then, did you say that Bent Spokes, was that formed before you guys, or?
yeah, I mean the community group. It was like a community group podcast. It was me and a buddy of mine, Art, that he was going through cancer at the time when we kind of formed it, and so we had friends, and we were all about trying to bring people back up that had fallen, and so that's kind of where it formed. And then, you know, we kept the podcast version of that going until Art passed away from stage 4 lung cancer, and then after that, it's, you know, we'd always talked about it becoming a musical project, and so I ran with that to kind of honor him and, you know, not let it die.
Yeah. And then once you guys got, so when did the bassist and then the drummer come into play there?
This is like, well, almost like 2 years after.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half. Brandon came on board. Jeremy played with Brandon before. Jeremy and I were
Okay.
playing out, the two of us. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah, and you know, it was pretty wild.
Oh.
So that was a lot of pressure on me,
Yeah.
being the band, and every once in a while I'd screw up and everything would drop.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
like speakers.
Yeah, then Brandon came on board, and then Rolly came on board.
Okay, cool. And then how long have you guys all been playing for?
About 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years now.
Nice. Is there any one, because I know that there's one show that you talked about, and then I was
Yeah, we
wondering,
won't talk about that. Okay.
because I know there was two shows. There was the best show,
Yeah.
and there was the worst show. But there was the show, hold on, where was it? It was Three Monkeys in Vancouver.
Yeah, no, that one actually it turned out really well. We didn't set the show up; we just got asked to come out and fill a slot on the set. But it was one of those ones where it's like everybody was outside on the patio, and nobody was really listening to the bands. And then, you know, once we started playing, it's like people that you wouldn't even think would like each other, let alone want to dance together, all of a sudden were filtering in and filling up the dance floor, and they were loving it. They were just that sense of community and that mutual enjoyment of the music.
Yeah.
And so it felt great. I think that was one of the best feelings I've had at a show.
Yeah. John, same way?
Yeah, that was fun. We played at Dante's. That was fun because it had a really nice stage. You know, that was pretty cool. Played out in Salem at a pretty cool place.
Yeah, Salem, that probably would have been one of, I wouldn't say it was the worst crowd-wise. I think the reason that it made it kind of the worst was because it was right during the wildfires. And so it's like you could see the glow from the wildfires coming over the hill while we were playing, right?
It was about 103 degrees, just the two of us.
In the smoke.
I was praying that they would call and say we're going to cancel, but they didn't. And so we're out there. It's like 103 degrees. We're dying, and it was outside. It wasn't inside.
dang.
And it was just like yikes.
Wow.
Yeah, the winds were coming down the hill. I think by the end of the show, the one of the gusts hit the speaker and it knocked it over on the amp, and so yeah, it was. We still play with that amp today. It's burly,
Okay. Yeah.
so you know it's.
All right. It took some hits.
It did, man. It lasted. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you guys think of venues and like, what do you like to play? Is it outside or inside, or is it a mix of both? Like, which ones have different vibes?
I mean, I think it really depends on the venue. I mean, as far as just like getting up on a stage, it's fun to be inside and get everybody just kind of crowded in there, bodies meshed together, you know, and moshing if they can, or swaying back and forth depending on the feel of the song. But you know, you definitely can't beat a nice outdoor event, you know, at a fair or a festival or something.
Yeah. Recently, is there any shows? Because when was Three Monkeys?
It's probably about a year ago, because we've kind of been revamping the sound. So
Okay. Is there any shows, like, is there any venues recently that come to mind that, like, you just felt?
well, this is like the most recent we've been back, so we're kind of getting back into the swing of
We
things.
played at McMinimans. That was our last
Right.
show, wasn't it?
No, we did Al's Den. That was interesting.
Okay.
Very, very cramped quarters, but it was nice. I mean, we loved the scenery, and it really gave us an opportunity to have that crowd interaction. You know, people laughing in the background, that kind of, you know, you could hear the crowd shooting questions back and forth, and hey, play that song.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Or they're laughing with you about the lyrics, Or
Okay.
Had one lady joking with her husband, like, "Oh, that's you," So it was fun. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see here. So when we talk about the music, the part of the music making process, now I like to always know, is it the recording? Is it the studio stuff? Is it getting out on stage? Is it doing shows? Which part for each of you is the best part?
I think the best part is probably, I don't know, for me, it's like the creation, because you never know where that spark of inspiration is going to come from. I mean,
Yeah.
Sasquatch, I wrote the lyrics to that in the shower, so using Sasquatch
Yikes.
soap.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. So you wrote that in the shower, and then, like, how did that, so then did you start thinking of, like, what comes next? So you got lyrics, and then how does it form after that? Do you come with the lyrics and you go, hey, John, I got this?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I shoot him the lyrics and be like, hey, man, you got anything? Like, sometimes I'll have a tune in my head that we can kind of play off of, but usually it's that I'm throwing the lyrics to John, or John's got something that he's already got. And,
Okay.
Yeah, and then he starts the music, and we go from there, and magic.
Nice. Let's see here.
It's coming down.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
Now, there was one moment, you said that a moment that stood out for you was when the music and your music changes somebody's life. You had somebody say, if I remember hearing this right, that they didn't end up, or that your music made them not want to commit suicide.
That was a long time ago. I had a fan reach out and tell me that, listening to the song, it made them change their mind, because they were really on the edge. They were really ready to go, and they said that the lyrics, it made them feel like somebody was going through what they were going through, and they weren't alone in this world.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of part of the inspiration, when we got this together, was wanting to write music that reaches out and touches people and makes them know they're not alone, that we all feel the same one way or another.
Was there any song when you guys were was there any song that literally just did that for you as you were forming your sound, like that just spoke to you and made you go, man, they know me?
There's been a lot of songs over the years that kind of touched me. I don't know. I think one of the most recent for me is like "Fear" by Blue October. That really hit me. But yeah, a lot of like Peter Cetera, the Karate Kid themes and stuff. And,
Yeah.
Like, I am the man that will fight for your honor. Oh, I always had that sentimental side in my heart. Not that you hear it in our lyrics too much,
But it's there. It's
It
there.
is. It is. We mean well.
It's buried in there, yeah.
John, for you?
I used to not really listen to a whole lot of lyrics, which is sad, but I would just listen to all the rhythms and the guitar playing and the shredding. I like Judas Priest and Scorpions, Ronnie James Dio, Ozzy with all his ton of different smoking hot guitar players. And so I would just be listening to that without even knowing about the lyrics. And so nothing really touched me too much. If I was with a girlfriend ages ago, these soft songs or something, but as far as just music, has always been really kind of hard rock and just listen to the guitar and rhythms and stuff like that.
Right. And then is there one, I know you spoke about Eruption. Is there any other one that really just you're like, yes, that right there?
I just recently have been listening to Avenged Sevenfold, and they're playing this, they were playing live, and their guitarist, I don't even know the name of the song, he just cranks out some insane lick that I'm trying to figure out, but I'm not even close. But most recently that you had mentioned that, I haven't heard a lick like that I've listened to it probably 30 times.
Yeah.
in the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
it
love
just like you're just like
Yeah, it's really good.
yeah. When I like to think of it as being in the zone for like musicians, like how does it feel, or when do you get like Jeremy when you're just like when you're resonating, those vocals are just resonating, and like is it basically like all the time? Does it take like a certain warm up period, or like when do you get in that pure flow?
I think that pure flow is, it's at different times. I mean, when it's on stage, it's when you got an entire crowd out there that's resonating with you, and they're, you're feeling the energy from them, and they're feeling the energy from you. I mean, it's great. But I think as far as like songs go, when we're writing, if like I'm always talking to John about if a song or lyrics that we're working on, it's like it's visual. You can see the video playing in your head while you're writing it. Then yeah, I know that song's gonna be a hit.
Yeah. Is there any one that like when you wrote it, you were like, that's it?
Oh, Riverbank was immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that's something that, I can see people like just jamming by the river, a campfire, and just young couples in love, and
Yeah. John?
Yeah, I love Riverbank. That's a cool song. I don't know. I mean, I write okay lyrics. Hostage for Your Love. I wrote that one. We played that one. Yeah. I mean, that was good.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch, Jeremy wrote.
Big hairy man running through the forest. I mean, that's fantastic.
Which is always appealing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think that a song's going to be really cool, and then I listen to it the next day. Like, I might just record it on my phone before I go to bed because it pops in my head, and I listen to it the next day, and it's like garbage, But every once in a while you get something decent, yeah.
Yeah. Is it the same, like, when you hit that resonant mode when you're playing? Has there ever been, like, those modes where you're just like, and that solo is just, it's almost like, it's like otherworldly, and you're just in this zone?
When you hit the right notes and then you go into another lick just seamlessly.
Yeah.
Then that's really cool with a good rhythm and everything's clean behind you and everything's just pumping out good. Then yeah, it's a blast. It's really fun.
Yeah. Let's see here. Now, one thing that when we talked, Jeremy, one thing that stood out was that you said your mom had passed on it was a major record deal?
Yeah, she was actually ready to get signed to a major Christian record label, and then she found out she was pregnant with me, and so she kind of came up against that wall, that major decision, like should I sign or should I devote my life to raising my child? And she devoted her life to raising me, and so now this is kind of like my chance, my way to give back and be like, well, since you gave that up, I'm gonna make this happen, and then you're gonna live the life you should have lived.
Yeah.
I always kind of nudge her a little bit every once in a while. You should have signed the record. I don't mind getting raised on the road. It's cool. Just sign a little formula into your writer or something. That's cool.
Right. Was there any way that did she influence your music at all?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I started singing in the church with her band. Probably when I was 8. I was already up in front of huge crowds, and wrote my first song when I was 12 years old. And,
okay.
Yeah, it kind of just kept going from there. I mean, she always jokes with me. She's like, you didn't start talking at first. She's like, you started singing. She's like, you just, yeah.
So you've been singing since the beginning.
Oh, yeah. She's like, 1.5. You could sing the entire song.
Dang. Okay. And then, John, for you, when was that moment where you saw either, like, when was the guitar playing started, like when you were growing up?
I have a picture of myself holding my grandpa's giant acoustic. I think I was like 5. I was like this. I didn't play at that time. It's just like, here, hold this and I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
And then I had a guitar when I was an acoustic, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. I played trumpet for 3 years. I actually started on the drums. And then because this girl I was seeing, her brother was a drummer, and so for about 3 months in high school, I was playing his drums, and then the guy across the street played the guitar, and it was so much easier. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go with the guitar.
Don't jump right in that.
And so I just started playing the guitar.
And then, obviously, Drums. After that, there were no more drums.
No more
right?
drums, just
Okay.
guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drove my brother crazy.
But I mean, like that's where you were in your zone, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the one song of your guys's? Like for Jeremy, what's the one song that like when you go up on stage and you know this one's coming up or you're about to like what's the one song that you just get into? I mean, I know you probably get into them all, but what's the one where you just
Well, I mean, the one that it always tugs on the heartstrings, and it's one that a lot of fans of ours, they know the song because they know what it's about, and it's Broken Soul, because I wrote that for my buddy Art before he passed away. And I mean, he was in his final stages, man. I mean, he couldn't breathe, he couldn't swallow, but I got to sing him that song, and it really struck home with him because it centered back on a conversation we had a lot, because he kept asking me a lot, like, you know, Jay's like, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here? What's going on? Why do we screw up so much? And I told him, I was like, man, you know, life is all about learning lessons. And, you know, even though your soul's broken and you think you can't learn that lesson, the universe is always going to keep bringing that lesson back around until you finally learn it. And if you don't learn it, then it's going to hit you like a damn freight train. And it's going to make you learn it,
right?
you know. And so that's kind of how Broken Soul was born, that it's like, you know, even if you don't learn the lessons in this life, I hope in the afterlife you're getting to get that life review and you're going, okay, that's what it was.
That's what that meant, right?
So that's where that conversation with God is that it's like, why is it so painful? And it's like, it's not meant to be painful. You just didn't learn the damn lesson.
It's like you weren't in it right then.
Yep.
Willing to learn. John, for you, what's the song that you can? I mean, again, all songs most likely, but what's the one key one where you just get jazzed up about shredding that lick?
I like Gypsy Queen because it's like that pound and kind of AC/DC type rhythm.
Yeah.
And I like Riverbank because it's just pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd say Gypsy Queen.
Okay. Got it.
She's like black magic, 'cause you in the night. She's so evil, but man, she feels so right. Breath so hot, it's like she's breathing fire. A sense of potion fills you with desire. Yeah, when she touch you, she'll put you in a spell. But when she leaves, feel like you're in hell. Just a queen, caught out of my dream. Got herself tonight. She's so obscene. Nails down my back. Needs a mic to make me bleed. You can't hold her, you can't love her. That's what you believe. Gypsy Queen, she's like a vision. Yeah, she walks across the room, moonlight kiss somebody. Man, I love to watch her move. She's got those curves, can't take too fast. Let's watch her move. Oh, you're not gonna lie. Gives you that look, like she'll eat you alive. I know she's dangerous, but I come back every time. Yeah. Gypsy Queen, crawled out of my dream. Got herself tonight. She's so obscene. Nails down my back. Leaves a mark to make me bleed. You can't hold her, you can't love her. That's what you believe. Gypsy Queen! Gypsy Queen! She's so obscene, nails down my back. Lisa Mark can make me bleed. You can't own her, you can't love her. That's what you believe. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Gypsy Queen, Gypsy Queen, Gypsy Queen, Gypsy Queen.
Jeremy, John, fantastic set. Thank you guys so much for talking to me afterwards. Let me ask
Absolutely.
you a few questions. And we really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
Boom.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here at Voices of the Community. I've been your host, Devin James, and we've been talking with Jeremy and John of Bent Spokes Posse.
Pull up to the starting line, my pulse begins to race. Adrenaline pushing overtime, my psychotic face. Light turns green, I push that pedal right down to the floor. Shifting gears, the tires burn, breathing more and more. Speed increases, time stands still as I accelerate. Focused on the road ahead as I increase my pace. Wrecking the metal, trading the paint. Adrenaline junkie going insane. Wrecking the metal, trading the paint. Adrenaline junkie going insane. Insane. Faster, faster, speeding it up. My need for speed is now my drug. Never thinking how it will end. Just thoughts of speed, my drug and my friend. Nothing stops me from my goal. Devoted to speed, committing my soul. They say it will kill me, they never live. For the love of the speed and the freedom it gives. Wrecking the metal, trading the paint. Adrenaline junkie going insane. Wrecking the metal, trading the paint. Adrenaline junkie going insane.